Hey everybody, what's up? Tim here. Hope you're having a great day. This is going to be video number 1 in a series as I put together my new pedal board. About 3 weeks ago now, I traded a Kemper stage, which by the way was great, and I'll have things to say about that along the way. But I have a Kemper here, and as I said before, if you happen to watch the intro video to this channel, I just really like pedals. So as cool as Kemper stage was, it didn't give me a chance to play with pedals. And I wanted to play with pedals. So I'm going to play with some pedals. I traded the Kemper stage, found a really great deal, and got a whole slew of gear in. And you can see remnants of the guy's old board and bits and pieces that I'm putting together now here in front of me if you're wondering what the heck I'm looking at. So today I'm going to spend some time going over the light drive section of my board. I should say that there are a few things that were just like, I've had enough boards, I know what I want. So delay and reverb are currently going to be courtesy of the Strymon pedals. I'm going to use an HX Stomp because, well, it does so many things well. Those are things I don't really feel like I need to do a review on. But what I am going to try and do a review on is the drive section. Because, well, I think that's the hardest section. You know, for most people, they're going to pick, you know, Strymon or GFI or Source Audio, and they're just going to go with a pair of pedals that really work for them in that section. Some of us are a little bit more adventuresome and try things like Maris and whatnot. But if you're a P&W guy, I did a little bit of research on this. You know, the vast majority of us are using actually Source Audio or Strymon these days. Or you're in the Helix universe or something like that. So I think that I've got that pretty well covered. The POG, there wasn't really any conversation to have there, except that maybe I would have tried the GFI synesthesia instead of, you know, the modulation from the HX Stomp and the POG, if that could do two things. But I did get into that, okay? So there were some things that were like really straightforward. Volume pedals, HX Stomp, Strymon, POG, okay? That's all really good. But I want 4 or 5 stages for overdrive, roughly splitting into boost, light overdrive, medium overdrive, heavy, and maybe something else. Maybe 2 in a certain category, depending on how, I just spit on myself. 2 in a certain category, depending on how things work out. So today's video is just the start of me playing through my drive section that I've got here. I've actually, because I was starting the channel, brought in a whole bunch of pedals, some of them in the trade, and some of them my buddies had around the church that I work at, and some of them I've just bought because I was curious about them or curious about them again. I'm going to play them both through the amps you see behind me. The one is panned hard right, the other panned hard left. So that if you want to hear them in isolation, you can do that. It's pretty easy to tell when you get them isolated which is which, because, well, the matchless is a lot brighter than the 2-rock, go figure. Okay, so I'm going to take some time to go through what I've got here, and I'll bring up now the board and show you what I've got on it, and we might swap some things out as we go, or we might have to do this in a couple of chunks, because frankly I got too many pedals here in front of me right now to make decisions. P.S. Individual demos of all of these pedals will probably be on the way. What I'm doing today is just trying to decide what works for me. And I'll try and talk through that process as I play, but we're going to go to a Pedalboard Top Shot, and I'll play with some knobs and pedals and tell you what I think as I listen, and then you guys can be the judges for yourself and maybe wonder, hey, what would I use if I was using one of those types of amps, American or British types with those drives. Okay? Peace, let's go. Okay, everyone, can you see me? We'll get started now. You can see that I've put together for today's video a Timmy, a Greer Lightspeed, Scarlett Love version 3 that's seen better days. This came to me in the trade that I mentioned before, and is missing a couple knobs. I've already been in touch with the guys at Selah to see if I can buy some new knobs for this. Pettyjohn Chime. This is a pedal I had a long time ago. Actually sold to one of the guitar players at my church, and so it's still here, and I figured why not give it a shot. And the Jackson Audio Prism. I have been a fan of Jackson Audio for quite some time. Owned a Newcastle 18. I've had the Broken Arrow, I've had the Bloom, and I figured, well, if I'm going to go back to this, maybe I'll try the Prism first this time and see how that works for me. So let's get started. Let me grab my guitar here behind me, stick in my in-ears so I can monitor. In case you're wondering, my amplifiers run through an isolation cabinet that's just off my office. So I have to remember to edit out all the the audio parts when I'm playing, because you can hear a little bit of the bleed here in my office. But it does allow me to play these amps at their proper volume. So here is the clean sound. Middle pickup. Now I'm gonna have to get really good at muting things. This is the middle pickup of my Telecaster right now. It sounds like this. And the neck pickup sounds like this. And the bridge. Yeah, so it's set just to the edge of breakup, right? I'm trying to get a little bit of hair on the amplifier. There's no point in isolating the amplifier if you're not going to make it work, right? Okay, so again, I realize for some of you that might not be your context. You might be looking for purely clean. But if it was me and I was auditioning these and I couldn't do that, I would have an always-on drive pedal to give me that much hair all the time. Because even when I play clean, I want a little bit of hair. I just find it's more harmonically interesting if we do it that way. Okay, so just a little. For me, that works best. Okay, so let's find unity gain on each one of these pedals. So the Timmy has a few different clipping modes. I like it in the middle mode. Again, this isn't a comprehensive demo of any one of these pedals. I'll come back around and do that in different ways, but I've got to get a board together soon. So I wanted to do this content before the opportunity ran out. I got impatient and just threw a board together. So Timmy is currently set in the middle. This is version 2, by the way, of the Timmy. I don't know exactly what the differences are. Again, maybe in the Timmy video I'll talk about that. But if you don't do anything to the Timmy, man, it is pretty. At unity gain, it sounds so similar to the actual amps themselves. It's a little bit uncanny. Now, if I was going to run the Timmy, I don't like it as a super gainy drive. It can do that. I usually would set the gain knob about there, maybe here. And one of my favorite things about the Timmy is just, I think one of the favorite things everybody has. The transparency is nice, it feels good, it's got clipping options so you can have a little bit of different flavor there. And the EQ is so powerful. with the amount of difference that that gives you just by moving the knob a quarter. One of the interesting things about the Timmy circuit is that those knobs are cut knobs. So this is actually no EQ whatsoever on bass and treble, okay? I tend to like slightly warmer drive sounds, especially when it gets as hairy as this. Some of these other pedals, I could let them get away with maybe being a little bit brighter. Sorry, I'll say that again without talking over. It cleans up really well. Okay, let's move on to the Lightspeed for a second. Again, for reference, here's some... I should mention my Telecaster has a broadcaster style pickup in it, and it is really hot compared to a lot of other Tele style guitars. I like it that way. It runs the line somewhere between Tele and P90 and humbucker, not really humbucker, but you know, like that gain output, and I really like that. So yes, there's a fair amount of crunch when I hit that, but I like it that way. Here's the Greer. Knobs aren't all quite at noon, but it's in that sweet spot. You know, most overdrive pedals sound best if their knobs are kind of like between 1030 and 130. There are exceptions to that, but that's what I found. Here's a bridge pickup with the Greer. Again, I would tend to use less gain than that. And the Greer is a really, really bright pedal. To be as transparent as it is, it needs to be bright. So got a few ways to go before we get to unity gain. Let's try. So you can see actually that the Lightspeed is not as loud a pedal as the Timmy. But not unlike the Timmy in its kind of brightest sound. Let's go back to the Timmy for a quick second and bring that treble down so that it's off. Timmy's already got too much gain compared to what I've got the Lightspeed. Now it's brighter. Okay, so they're really similar in some ways. They can both be very articulate, very bright. The Greer almost feels scoopy compared to the Timmy. The Timmy has more frequencies going on. That's just, I think, what I see. And I tend to like, now there's sometimes where you don't want all the frequencies going on, so you know, you kind of got to make decisions there. But I also think that you could tune up the Timmy to sound, the EQ on it's really powerful, that's what I'm trying to say. Let's try the Scarlett Love. Now I have the Scarlett Love right now on the cloniest setting. Are there any of the other pedals on? No. We'll get into stacking sometime. And I believe, although I don't, my treble knob isn't here right now. I'm pretty sure this is, the gain's all the way down. The EQ is pretty flat. If you don't know the Scarlett Love very well, it's kind of a cool pedal because it does a lot. It's got a MIDI in, so you can actually by MIDI change 3 modes of the pedal. And so the blue mode is supposed to be like a clone type sound, and the red mode is like a plexi type sound or a Marshall in a box type sound. Plexi gets thrown around, that's a bad word. And then green is a tube screamer type sound. In this particular case, I'm gonna stick to the clonier sound. I'm going to be honest, I did some work on these ahead of time, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on Scarlett Love in this context because I think I have better pedals for what I'm looking for. I've even got over here in the corner, I've got a Ryra clone. Maybe we'll throw that on and compare and contrast here once we've been through some of the other ones. But I really like these last two. When I was playing with them earlier today, I just thought, you know, the Pettyjohn, I haven't plugged it in a long time, and they're super well built, lots of interesting features. If you're at all a sound engineer, and I do some of that here because of my job, I'm the one guy in our worship arts department for a kind of a medium-sized Canadian church. So I've had to get better at things like sound and audio, and I like some of the things that Pettyjohn has done, like a low cut. I think that's smart. 3-position low cut just really will help you dial it in, even if your mics aren't in a great place that day. The Pettyjohn, the chime, level, tone, those are self-explanatory. Drive and boost. So boost, I think, is the amount of signal you're putting into the drive section. It's like a pre-boost. And so it's like if my guitar suddenly got louder but didn't change character. So if I had the output of a Les Paul in this Telecaster, it's kind of what the boost will do. And in that respect, it can get super gainy if you want it to. But that's not what we're doing today. Okay, let's check out some of the clipping modes. I've got the low cut off. As in, the low cut is not doing any cutting, or not much at all. Right, because it changes things pretty dramatic. As do the clipping modes. I'm pretty sure one of the clipping modes is a germanium diode. One of them, I'm pretty sure it's this, is LED clipping because it's got so much more headroom. you look what happens when we change between the middle of the switch and the bottom. So here's the middle, the level straight up and down. And then if you go down, you lose a lot. You lose some bottom. It's a cool sound. You can make up for it, of course, with different settings. But again, for this, I'm looking for that sound or those sounds that I can use, you know, in a second chorus or the verse of a tune. You know, after the swelly bits thing happens. We're not talking about, you know, like a great big song like Glorious Day or something like that. We're talking about, you know, the sort of the traditional start a little lower, build it up kind of worship song. This is going to be the stuff that hits the middle of the song after your swells have had their time, and you need to hit some chords or play your first bunch of lead lines. So I'm curious to hear this now against the other two, just for fun. So here's the Lightspeed, same settings we left it with. So what we had dialed up there, sorry, it's gonna take me a while to figure out not to talk over my own trails. And I have no idea what that mic is gonna sound like, the room mic. I'm gonna have to be on it. But what we left the Lightspeed set at is gainier than what I currently had the Pettyjohn. Again, the Pettyjohn has a lot more, it's got more harmonic content. It's got more signal pushing through, especially on the low end. Oh man, and then the Timmy even more so. We could cut that with the Timmy. That's what's so cool about the Timmy. It just has so many options. We could also cut that on the Pettyjohn if we incorporated the low cut. I don't want to put too much delay on this. The 2-Rock has some reverb, which if you're listening to this on headphones or in stereo, you'll get a fair amount of that. I kind of feel like the Pettyjohn I was going to say, I kind of feel like the Pettyjohn might sound the most like just the clean signal, but more. which is cool because I mean I have some nice amps and I kind of want, I chose them on purpose, and so I kind of want everything to sound like my sound, or at least I want that option. Problem with playing pedals a whole bunch is that you begin to think that your sound is not bright enough anymore because the pedals add so much harmonic content. Okay, let's try the Prism. The Prism is probably, unlike the rest of these, I mean, these are overdrive pedals. The Prism is a boost, first and foremost. I think that's how they market it. You know, it can create overdrive, but, you know, there's no gain knob, no drive knob on just the boost, just the volume. And then the, you know, the EQ. The switches will give you more or less gain. I've got it in the low mode. I've got it in the transparent section right now. So again, clean tone. It's amazing how different your clean sound sounds after you've been playing back and forth with pedals for a while. The other sound I really like on this pedal is the amp sound. So that transparent sound is pretty transparent. Here's that same riff. It actually feels a little bit more like the clean tone in the amp setting. I'm not sure if it's any more transparent, but feel-wise, it feels like an amp. Interesting. I'm starting to develop some opinions. I think I'm gonna try, let's see what the, I'm not in love with the Scarlett, so let's see what the Ryra clone does in that setup, and maybe we'll throw in the Stu-G Kilt V1, which oddly enough we have two here, one for my buddy and one for me. Just on the boost side though, because I really like that JHS boost. So give me a second and I will reorder some things and come back. Okay, wait, so actually on second thought, I don't think I'm going to sub in the Ryra, because I've already got 25 minutes of footage right now. I don't know how long the video will actually end up being. But there's a lot of footage there. And I said in this particular video, I was looking for a amp-like light to medium overdrive. And I think I've formed some opinions. I'm gonna wait until the end of the series to tell you which ones I pick and which ones I put on the board. I will do another video for boosts, which will either feature the Ryra, or I might do one that's more like mid-humpy overdrives, because I've got a TS10 for all you John Mayer fans. I know all you praise and worship guys love John Mayer. And the Ryra, and there's like a full drive over here, MOSFET V2, a Sparkle drive, Analog Man, King of Tone. They're all kind of like, you know, mid-humpy overdrives. And I haven't decided if I'm going to put one of those on the board yet, but we should give them their fair shake, should we not? Okay, that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you found it interesting to put some of those more transparent drives back to back. As always, I would be deeply honored if you subscribed and turned on notifications so that you can follow along on this journey as I build my new pedal board. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your tone journey, and we will see you soon. Who's we? Who am I talking about? I will see you soon. Maybe the community will see you soon. Peace.